Have you always wanted to start your own business? Do you have an innovative idea or an invention, but just don't know how to turn it into a company? Are you already in business and need some help growing? The BRF's Entrepreneurial Accelerator Program can help. At EAP, we work alongside you, helping you with things like financial modeling, funding strategy, pitch preparation, and marketing strategy. So what are you waiting for? Go to eapla.com today and set up a time to talk with our team. Let EAP help you launch or grow your business in North Louisiana today.
All right, well, welcome back to On The Cusp. We're starting off our Season 7. I got Matt Snyder back with me on this. This is really interesting for us because today we've got Matt Dickerson from Mid-South Extrusion, which is in Monroe, Louisiana.
Yep.
I know a little bit about Mid-South Extrusion, okay? I'm actually a ULM grad, so I know a little bit about Monroe,
Yep.
okay? But I'll tell you this, and this is why having someone from Monroe is important to us. Whatever happens positive on I-20, whether it's Shreveport, Bossier, Ruston, Monroe, West Monroe, is good for everybody in North Louisiana.
That's right.
That's correct.
And that's the way if we're really serious about economic development in North Louisiana, we have to think about that.
Yeah.
Okay? So, Matt, tell us about Mid-South Extrusion.
Yeah, so family-owned company, been in business for, I think since the late 80s. Grandfather, not my grandfather, Mark Kent Anderson, who's our EVP of sales, his grandfather helped start the company. And Mark Kent's dad, and now Mark Kent's kind of fallen in line to take over that family-owned company. Plastic extrusion, we make plastic. We use plastic in the big part of our market is in the comfort industry, so the plastic that your mattresses are wrapped in is typically our plastic. The plastic that is used in foam production to make the foam that's in these chairs and underneath the rugs and under your flooring is usually poured on our plastic. And so we reach, we kind of take pride, and sometimes you don't always see us, but we're always there.
That's cool.
That's
and our
true.
products are found in convenience stores and houses.
And
all
I mean,
over the
I think
world.
you said before, you do to put that in perspective to people, they don't even realize that the Tyson chicken they're buying at Brookshire's is wrapped in your plastic.
That's right. Our plastic's used in grocery stores and all kinds of applications. So
Matt,
pretty cool.
What are we talking about here? How many employees is this?
So we're a little over 200 employees. Obviously, we have vacancies we'd like to fill. I think, fully staffed, we're probably 230, 240 is where we need to be, but we're just right there around 200 employees right now in the heart of Monroe.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, we're
That's
located
cool.
on Jackson Street in Monroe, the historic south side of Monroe, and really love the community that we're locked into.
So let me ask you about that, because you think about making plastics. I was thinking you were going to be way out in the country, smell terrible. But
Clean production.
Okay, tell me about that, because I would be concerned, like a plastic producer.
You come down and you see our facility, and we really take pride in the growth that we've experienced over the years. We went from 1 extrusion line to 2 extrusion to 4 to 5 to we have 12 now, and then we're currently looking to expand right there on Jackson Street with additional lines. And we take pride in how our plant looks. It's not a typical manufacturing facility like you think, the smokestacks and everything else. We're clean production, and the green push and sustainability is big in our industry. And we're actually right now our executive offices and our sales offices are moved to Tower Place in Monroe because we're adding another 4,000 or 5,000 square feet to a corporate office. Cool. So the commitment for Mid-South Extrusion is to remain in Monroe and to really grow our community, because we feel like when we're successful, our community is successful as well.
Yeah, we definitely believe in that.
Yeah.
So we know you're a workforce development guy.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. Okay, tell us, just give us the intro of why that's important to you and what you're working on in that.
Yeah, I mean so really, to go back, I spent almost 9 years in K-12 education. Oh, cool. And so I was with Monroe City Schools and helped develop some career and technical education programs there some years ago. And before I got into the private sector, really that was my That was my role. I was career and technical education supervisor for Monroe City Schools there. And really, I got to start working with business and industry in the K-12 space and trying to start programs at the school level. And then I kept hearing, over and over, we need people, we need more trained, skilled workforce, and so on and so forth. And when I got into the private sector as a business owner, at that point, I started really understanding it from this side, right?
Yeah.
Is that we really do need skilled labor. And so it's just evolved over the years to where now the conversation's really shifted across I-20, like you said. But economic development is a big topic. And one thing I always say is, like, you can't have economic development without workforce development. Like, I think a major part of economic development is workforce development. Because if you don't have the people, you're not going to have the companies. And if you don't have the companies, you can't grow the
Which goes to Matt's deal.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't have the people, to me, you can't have all those cultural events that everybody in the festival.
But wait a minute, Matt. I love you didn't even tell me the K-12 thing. Tee me up, baby. All right, so you're in the school system. And you're trying to develop employees for your community.
That's right.
What's the hardest thing you fight with trying to keep them in town, Matt?
Yeah, well, there's always things to do, right?
Right.
You got to have we don't have the Dallas Metroplex and all the fun stuff.
I mean, it's tough when there's a job in Frisco versus your job in Monroe or Shreveport or Bossier. How do we fight that?
Well, there's some great things happening, I think, across the state of Louisiana right now. But definitely for our side of the state, Northeast Louisiana, the city of Monroe and the mayor's office, Kelsey McCreary and their team in Monroe really putting an emphasis on the cultural piece.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. And Friday Ellis, he's a huge champion.
Absolutely.
And he was a culture kind of guy. We met him before he was the mayor, and you could immediately, you knew what you had.
When Catalyst got started in Monroe, Friday Ellis was right there as a key component of that, entrepreneur. And I know you're an entrepreneur too. You had a couple of your own private businesses.
You could tell when we met Friday Ellis at Catalyst that time, I mean, that had to be a year before he wasn't even running for office at that point, that guy was about making that community something
And it's happening. He cast a big vision for our community, and our community's really, to the community's credit, has really grabbed a hold of that vision and started trying to build around that, which you've got business and industry buying into that as well. Because we hear what our people want. We don't want to just have somebody that works all day and goes home and closes their door. We want to have a community and a culture. But one thing from a workforce development side, people need to have the living wage that allows them to take part in the cultural side. I think that's where business and industry and economic development really comes in.
Yeah, but you're really working really hard on some workforce development projects right there to expand your lines. Talk to us a little bit about that. That's really key, because people don't understand, they think a job just appears like that.
Well, also, what kid's sitting in school and saying, I want to be a plastic extractor?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing you have to kind of create that guy.
You do. You have to, there's the knowledge, the exposure that has to happen. And we're not reinventing the wheel in Monroe, but we're really trying to take advantage of some opportunities that we have, and bridging the gap between K-12 education and business and industry is huge. And so we've got a group of manufacturers, much like the Northwest has y'all's Manufacturing Alliance. There's a group of manufacturers in Northeast. We call ourselves NELAMAC, Northeast Louisiana Manufacturers Alliance and Consortium. And that's a group of manufacturers come together really with an emphasis on workforce and education. And creating opportunities in our high schools and even in our junior highs about telling our story. So we've got some projects. We got a new website we're getting ready to roll out. We've got some 360 tours where classrooms all across the state and the country can log in and watch a tour of any facility, a manufacturing facility in Northeast Louisiana, without leaving their classroom.
That
is impressive.
So the exposure piece is really a focus for us, because most people drive by and have no idea what comes out of Monroe.
I mean, we never had that in school. I mean, I had no idea. I still don't have an idea of what the inside of a factory, probably
There's a lot of special things, like the steel that holds the scoreboard in Dallas Cowboys Stadium was made right there in Monroe.
No way.
Yeah, when you go buy your Capri Suns and your beer boxes and you grab that 12-pack on the way home, most of those were made right there in Monroe. And so there's just so much to tell about what's happening in our part of the state, just like it is in the Northwest and the South, Southeast, all parts of Louisiana.
Yeah.
We know we've got a great company or a great culture in our state, and we really want to share that and expose the
We got to tell
young
that
people to
story
that.
more, man.
I think so too.
We really do.
Yeah, I like the fact the way you're tying the I-20 corridor together.
Yep.
That's
South Louisiana's story is told so often.
Yep.
So even here,
Yep.
it's told in our land. You know,
Yep.
you got LSU and you got New Orleans and you got Mardi Gras. And that story is always told.
That's right.
But there's a lot of great things happening up here. There's
There
a
is.
lot of potential,
Yep.
so much land, so much availability.
Yep.
We just got to tell the story.
So what
That's
about the workforce development? I mean, you know, I've been a part of a lot of economic development activities across the I-20 corridor, and in every case, workforce. The question comes up: is there an existing workforce right now today that if we do this, you'll fill our positions? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say that we, like most communities, are struggling in having a abundance of workforce just ready to go to get that company that's looking to move into the
1,000
region.
jobs or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I mean, the worst thing, and I say this, and I hope people understand when I say this, what I mean is like the worst thing for us right now where we are is for 1,000 job company to move into our area. And what I mean by that is because if you look at the immediate landscape, they're going to pull out of existing.
That's correct. They're going to take a third
plants, right?
out of the existing plants.
They're going to take out of the existing plants, and all we're doing is recreating a problem. And so we love the ribbon cuttings. We love all the pomp and circumstance with new companies opening up. But our conversation in our community is we want those things, but we want them the right way. We want to create a workforce today that's ready for that company that's coming in 2, 3, 4 years down the road. And so that's really the emphasis that we have is I know across the state and everybody's feeling it, that we're hearing this out-migration across Louisiana.
Yeah.
And when you look at the map and look at who's leaving, it's really, there's South Louisiana's getting hit. New Orleans, there is an out-migration of New Orleans. When you look at North Louisiana, we're kind of almost seeing a little bit of an uptick, actually. Not really, it's not
That's great
as effective. But the question I always have is like, well, who's staying? Because the people that are leaving are the ones that have the opportunity to leave. They have the means to leave. What we really have to focus on is the people that are staying. And what of that population that's staying is what we call disconnected. And so our focus when it comes to workforce development is identifying this disconnected population. That's the group that's not in any kind of training program or education program, and they're not in the workforce. They're just existing in our system. And when we identify and target those individuals and create these transition plans to move them out of their current circumstance into a living wage where they can take care of these cultural things, right? I mean, people in Monroe, we want more restaurants. But when you talk to the people that own the restaurants, they're not going to open another restaurant because they're already at the capacity of the people. You can go into Monroe and you can go to all the nice restaurants every day of the week, and you'll most likely see the same crowd.
Right?
Yeah. And so we want to create a place where those individuals that are low income or in poverty, we want to create opportunities for those individuals to move up to really take advantage of some of the cultural aspects and the quality of life aspects in our community.
So I'm going to ask the question that just feels like it's right there, and I don't know if you want it or not, but the 1,000 jobs, right? The 1,000 job company that I get, we don't have the people for. The idea in my mind would be, okay, let's bring 1,000 new residents into the community to fill those jobs. Why won't that happen?
Well, because I think we've got 1,000 residents that can take those jobs.
Okay.
But we don't have the infrastructure from a programming standpoint of how do I move that individual out of their current circumstance and into these training programs that will qualify them.
It's not because we're culturally losing to the place they're working at now?
There's always the give and take. I mean, I think, yes, could we have...
Can you recruit, if you have 10 jobs open at your plant right now, Can you go get them from a Dallas, Texas plant?
Very few.
Very few.
Very few.
But you'd have higher economic impact if you took 5 from Dallas and you took 5 that were underemployed and moved them into those 5.
That's right.
To fill the other 5. If you could do that, okay, we get double. And there's significant benefit.
That's what me and Dave's mission is.
Yeah.
If we ever succeed, it is that we fix both of those.
Yeah,
that
sure.
We come up, because I do think there are things, sellable things of why living in Shreveport or Monroe is better than Dallas for certain people.
And that's what
I don't think we
say
say that well.
Yeah.
I don't think we
say
get
it
that
well
out
at
well.
all.
But I think there is. I think if you let Matt go talk in that plant, I could find 10 guys that are like, I hate this 45-minute drive to work. I hate this, like I'd love to have some land.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's how we've got a lot of people. Yeah, that's why I say you'd have very few, but you got a lot of people right now that are looking to get out of those big cities.
I think so too.
And so how do we
gotta do
really
that is
unpack
key.
that?
That is absolutely key. And I think, I'm glad you brought that up. I think that's key for us as a region. And I think we got to do a better job of selling the region to the people that are here, okay, that there's plenty of opportunity here, and there is an opportunity for you to move up.
Yeah,
I think we look at those places and we say, oh, everybody that lives there is a Dallas guy.
Yeah.
They love it. They're driving a Lambo to dinner. That's not true.
No.
That's not true at all. There's a lot of people that the bigness of those cities causes it to be a very hard lifestyle.
Yeah.
The cost to live in those cities.
Cost of living. I think
we
that is
gotta
one of the
target that.
I agree with you, and I think people don't realize right now, okay, that the cost of a home in North Louisiana is significantly less than if you want to fight that traffic in Dallas or Houston and
a guy working for Matt and Monroe are working for the same wage in Dallas. His lifestyle is way better in
we did this. We had we looked at the study, and I think a $60,000 income in Monroe equated to like a $90,000 income in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so just that transition.
For sure.
But like one thing that I want to really emphasize is like, I think Monroe, what we're talking about is we don't really want to be like Dallas. We want to be Monroe.
That's
I
right.
agree.
Right?
That's right.
That's right.
I mean, there's things that we appreciate in these other cities that we see, but we feel like we've got some really good things going, and our focus is being the best Monroe that we can be. I would say it's the same thing on Shreveport side of the state
I would
as well.
tell you absolutely. Our mayor in his campaign, he's promoting Shreveport, and this is a great place to end because we're going long.
Oh my God!
Okay,
that was a fun.
So that was fast. This is really good because you're really the first guy that's come in here and really talked about what a business does to do workforce development. And Matt, thanks so much.
I love that your K-12 experience is it puts you in the perfect place for this. Man.
It does.
That's exciting.
It does.
That's good.
That's good.
Thank you, Matt.